Hello, and welcome to week number 1, Expectations. Each week, right below the announcements, you will see the week's expectations. What do I expect from you for that week? This week, I expect, number 1, that you complete the Getting Started video. This is going to help you in the long run, knowing how to put your answers into assessments, where the lessons are, and all that kind of stuff. Number 2, complete the BC questionnaire. It's very short, just a few questions that I want to know a little bit about yourself. Number 3, complete section 2.1, rate of change and limits, and then complete the assessment that goes along with that lesson. And number 5, complete section 2.2, limits involving infinity, and complete the assessment that goes along with that lesson. Section 2.1, the target is limits and continuity. The objective, students will be able to evaluate finite limits. And there's 2 examples of the type of problems that I would expect you to be able to do. For example, the first one, there's a graph there. And then question A, it says, it is read, the limit as x approaches 3 from the left-hand side of f of x is. Well, if I take a look there, and I'm coming from the left, the limit looks like it's going to be 3 there. And then B, it says, what is the limit as x approaches 3 from the right-hand side? Well, if I'm coming from the right-hand side, I should be able to look at that and say, yeah, it looks like the limit would be -2. Part C, it says, what is the limit as x approaches 3? Well, since I know that the limit has to be the same coming from the left-hand side and the right-hand side, and in this problem, the limit is not the same from the right and left, that means there is no limit. The limit does not exist for this problem. And D, what is f of 3? That means if you plug 3 into the function, what is your solution? Well, I can look at the graph and say it's 1. Now, if you can't do that, you really need to go through and concentrate on section 2.1. You also have to be able to find a limit using algebra. Being able to use substitution is a great method to find a limit. So the second problem down there, all I would do is I would just plug 1 in there. So 1 to the third is 1, plus 3 times 1 to the second, well, that would be 3, minus 2, minus 17. If I just add all that up, that should be my limit. Okay, so that's the kind of stuff that you will see in section 2.1. 2.2, the target is limits and continuity again. The objective is students will be able to evaluate limits involving infinity. So if I take a look at the first example here, it says the limit as x approaches 2 from the right-hand side. Well, if I used algebra in this problem, I'd put a 2 in here. 2 minus 2 is 0. So 1 over 0 is undefined. So there's got to be another way to figure out what the limit is going to be there. And I know that since it is going to be an asymptote there, so that means the answer is going to have to be positive or negative infinity. So if you knew what the graph looks like, if you knew what the end behavior is, this would be a very easy problem. And the second one, it's now the limit as x approaches infinity. Oh my. So I look at this problem and it's like, oh, what's happening? Top and bottom. And that's what section 2.2 goes through. So good stuff. Love this stuff. And for those of you that took AB last year, this should be really easy stuff for you. You have a great week. And remember, hopefully 12 o'clock noon on Wednesday, let's have a live E session.